You are watching A News. I'm Katie Wilson. Here are the top stories. Trump and Putin agree temporary halt on energy infrastructure strikes as Zelensky welcomes proposal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders to resume Gaza strikes, sparking mass protests in Tel Aviv. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are finally back on Earth after a 9-month delay. Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed in a phone call with US President Donald Trump on Tuesday on a 30-day halt on energy facility strikes. Our correspondent Ubi Shabandar reports from Washington.
President Donald Trump's Tuesday phone call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin lasted for an extraordinary 2 hours in what Trump described as a, quote, very good and productive discussion. In a readout following the call, the White House announced that the Kremlin and Kyiv have agreed to an immediate ceasefire towards targeting each other's energy infrastructure. Both countries have been launching drones and missile strikes against each other's oil refineries and electrical power stations. The deal falls short of a total ceasefire, but President Trump said in a social media post that there is an understanding that the U.S. and Russia will work quickly towards a complete ceasefire and ultimately to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Trump stated that he believes that both Presidents Putin and Zelensky want to see an end to the conflict and that he believed that the peace process is now, quote, in full force and effect. The Kremlin said in a readout of the call between President Trump and Putin that there will be a prisoner swap with Ukraine. Putin told Trump that Russia's main conditions for a full ceasefire are the complete cessation of Western military aid to Ukraine and an end to intelligence sharing with Kyiv, per a Kremlin statement. In a subsequent media interview, President Trump denied that he discussed Ukrainian military aid with President Putin. Stopping the flow of weapons to Kyiv could prove to be a difficult pill to swallow for European NATO allies and the Ukrainians. European leaders fear that stopping the flow of weapons, even during a lull in the fighting, would allow Russia time to rearm and rebuild its armed forces to attack Ukraine again when the ceasefire expires. I'm Ubi Shabandar, A News, Washington, D.C.
President Volodymyr Zelensky announced Ukraine's support for a US proposal to a 30-day halt on energy facility strikes. He also expressed hope for a conversation with US President Donald Trump regarding his recent call with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
If President Trump can put more pressure on Russian President in terms of details and force him to stop striking the infrastructure and the sea, if this is the first step and there are no other steps, then he should share the details on how we are going to do it. I am sure that Ukrainian and American sides will support any step that will lead to decreasing the number of strikes on both military and civilian infrastructure. It is not type of the game where Putin is the only one to impose his rules. I think military aid will continue. We have aid from both the United States and our European colleagues. We are constantly in touch with them. I am certain there will be no betrayal from the partners' side and that the flow of military aid will continue.
Germany's parliament has approved a landmark spending surge, marking a major shift from decades of fiscal conservatism. The decision aims to revive economic growth and bolster military capabilities as Europe faces new security challenges. The move also strengthens the position of Conservative leader Friedrich Merz, who stands to benefit from a massive investment windfall.
Germany's Bundestag has given the green light to an ambitious financial strategy, signalling a historic departure from its traditionally cautious fiscal policies. The approved plans pave the way for an economic revival following 2 years of contraction, as well as increased military spending to reinforce European collective defence. With growing concerns over Russia's actions and shifting US policies, Germany and its European partners are under pressure to enhance their security measures. The plan, supported by both Merz's Conservatives and the Social Democrats, outlines the creation of a $546 billion infrastructure fund. Additionally, they propose easing strict borrowing rules enshrined in Germany's constitution to allow higher expenditures on defence and security. The legislation still has to go to the Bundesrat upper house, which represents the governments of Germany's 16 federal states. The main hurdle to passage there appeared to fall on Monday when the Bavarian Free Voters agreed to back the plans.
European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen called for urgent strengthening of Europe's defence capabilities. Speaking at the Royal Danish Military Academy in Copenhagen, she outlined her vision to rearm Europe by 2030.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen made a strong call for Europe to bolster its defence posture by 2030. Speaking at the Royal Danish Military Academy, von der Leyen warned that Europe must act now to counter growing global security threats.
By 2030, Europe must have a strong European defence posture. Readiness 2030 means to have rearmed and developed the capabilities to have credible deterrence. Readiness 2030 means to have a defence industrial base that is a strategic advantage. But to be 2030 ready, we must move now.
Von der Leyen announced the establishment of a joint task force with Ukraine to coordinate EU and member states' military support.
We will set up a joint task force with Ukraine to coordinate the European Union's and the member states' military support to Ukraine. We must buy more European, because that means strengthening the European defence technological and industrial base. That means stimulating innovation here in Europe. That means creating an EU-wide market for defence equipment.
European Commission President also highlighted that the era of the peace is long gone, adding that the security architecture that Europe could rely on can no longer be taken for granted.
In North Macedonia, huge crowds assembled to remember the 59 victims of a deadly nightclub fire, with vigils held in Skopje and Kočani. The tragedy has sparked protests, with demonstrators demanding justice and reforms to address the corruption linked to the disaster.
Thousands of people gathered across North Macedonia on Tuesday evening to mourn the 59 victims of a devastating nightclub fire, the deadliest disaster the country has faced in recent years. In the capital Skopje, several thousand attended a solemn vigil in the main square, lighting their mobile phones to mark 16 minutes of silence in remembrance of the tragedy, which occurred on March 16th.
This has to stop. This corruption and bribery, it has to stop. This is a mess, and I can say that I am giving my support for resolution of this. I'm not on either side. I just think enough is enough.
Meanwhile, hundreds gathered in Kočani, the town where the fire broke out, for prayers and to release black balloons into the sky. Attendees held photographs of the victims and those involved in the rescue efforts, while others lit candles and wrote condolence messages.
This gathering today is not a protest. Today we want to express our condolences to all the families and respect those people who helped to saving the children.
The fire erupted during a hip-hop concert at the Pulse nightclub in Kočani on Sunday, when sparks from flares ignited the ceiling. The unlicensed venue's only exit became congested as the flames spread, trapping attendees inside. More than 150 people were injured in the blaze. Officials revealed that the nightclub's license was illegally obtained, and the venue lacked proper safety measures such as fire extinguishers and emergency exits. The incident has sparked widespread outrage and calls for an end to corruption, as many blame inadequate safety protocols for the disaster. Authorities have arrested around 20 individuals, including government officials and the nightclub manager, in connection with the fire. As flags flew at half-mast in the country, anger over the tragedy sparked protests, especially in Kočani. Demonstrators demanded justice for the victims and called for reforms to address the corruption that contributed to the deadly blaze.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he approved new military action in Gaza after Hamas refused to release hostages. Netanyahu stated that future talks with Hamas would occur alongside military actions, adding that this is just the beginning. He stressed that Israel will keep fighting to achieve all of the war's objectives. The Prime Minister also urged Palestinians in Gaza to avoid any contact with Hamas and to move to safety.
This is why I authorized yesterday the renewal of military action against Hamas. Israel does not target Palestinian civilians. We target Hamas terrorists. And when these terrorists embed themselves in civilian areas, when they use civilians as human shields, they're the ones who are responsible for all unintended casualties.
Thousands of Israelis gathered for an anti-government protest in Tel Aviv on Tuesday evening. The demonstration came after Israel decided to resume airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, following Hamas's rejection of ceasefire extension proposals.
Around 40,000 protesters gathered at Habima Square in central Tel Aviv to rally against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's decision to take military action on Gaza. The people expressed anger at the government, accusing it of weakening Israel's democracy and focusing on military action instead of peace efforts.
And Netanyahu and the government, no matter what they're trying to prolong their grasp of the reins over Israel now, destroy all of its democratic foundation, and move away from the hostages, which is the main thing that's supposed to be on the table. Everything else has to be second stage to that.
Also, we are worried about what is going on here. Is our democracy going to be, I don't know what? Do the government works for us? Do they care about us, the people? How come we feel like we want to be together? Israelis are such lovely people. What happened to us?
Israeli airstrikes on Gaza on Tuesday killed over 400 people, according to Palestinian health authorities. This marks the end of nearly 2 months of relative calm since the ceasefire began in January. Both Israel and Hamas accused each other of violating the peace agreement. Hamas, which still holds 59 of the 250 hostages Israel claims were taken during the October 7, 2023 attack, made no threat of retaliation.
Turkish authorities arrested Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu on Wednesday on charges including corruption, aiding a terrorist group and leading a criminal organisation. His party, the Republican People's Party, condemned the move. İmamoğlu, a two-term mayor and a key opposition figure, was expected to be named his party's presidential challenger within days. In a video posted on his X account, he vowed to continue his political fight despite the pressure. Tensions in Yemen have escalated following a series of US military strikes on areas controlled by Houthi rebels. At least 10 US airstrikes have hit key locations in Yemen in response to increasing Houthi attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, Houthis claim to have launched air attacks on US naval forces, marking their fourth strike in 72 hours.
At least 10 US airstrikes have targeted key locations in Yemen, including the capital, Sana'a, Sada province and Hodeidah, according to reports from Houthi-controlled media. These strikes are part of a larger US military operation that began on Saturday, marking the largest US military action in the Middle East since US President Donald Trump took office. The Houthi-run health ministry stated that the US airstrikes have killed 53 people, including women and children, and injured many others. US national security officials confirmed that several senior Houthi commanders were killed in the strikes. Meanwhile, Houthi spokesperson Yahya Saraya said that the rebels launched missile and drone attacks on US naval forces, including the USS Harry S. Truman and other warships. This marks the fourth such attack in just 72 hours. This missile attack followed Israel's resumption of airstrikes on Gaza, resulting in hundreds of deaths, according to Palestinian health authorities. The Houthis also confirmed targeting an Israeli airbase with a ballistic missile. The Israeli military reported intercepting the missile that launched from Yemen, triggering sirens in multiple areas. Since 2023, the Houthi group has repeatedly fired drones and missiles toward Israel, framing these attacks as acts of solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. These attacks later expanded to US and British ships after their naval coalition launched air raids and missile strikes. President Trump has vowed to take decisive action against the Houthis and hold Iran accountable for supporting them.
The Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame met in Doha on Tuesday for direct talks aimed at addressing the ongoing conflict in eastern Congo. In a joint statement, the leaders emphasized their commitment to ongoing dialogue. The heads of state agreed on the need to continue the discussions in order to establish solid foundations for lasting peace. The meeting comes amid heightened tensions between the two nations, with Kinshasa accusing Kigali of backing the M23 rebel group, a charge Rwanda denies. US President Donald Trump has released 80,000 pages of documents related to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, fulfilling a campaign promise to increase transparency around the historic event. The documents, made available through the National Archives, were uncovered after Trump's early executive order prompted the FBI to locate thousands of additional records. Kennedy's assassination has long been attributed to a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, though conspiracy theories persist. Despite decades of reaffirmation by federal agencies, polls indicate many Americans remain skeptical of the official narrative. Google's parent company Alphabet has announced its largest ever acquisition. The tech giant confirmed on Tuesday that it will buy Israeli cybersecurity firm Wiz for a staggering $32 billion. This all-cash deal is set to bolster Google's cloud business significantly.
Google announced on Tuesday that it has signed a definitive agreement to acquire cloud security firm Wiz in a massive $32 billion deal, marking one of the tech giant's largest acquisitions to date. The purchase far surpasses Alphabet's previous offer of roughly $23 billion last year. Wiz had called off that deal in July over concerns it would not clear antitrust hurdles. The acquisition is a strategic move by Google to enhance its cloud security services, leveraging Wiz's AI-powered cybersecurity solutions. Companies rely on Wiz to detect and eliminate critical security risks in cloud environments. Gil Luria, head of technology research, emphasized the importance of the deal for Google.
It's a very important deal for Google. It's the largest they've ever done. And it really is there to reinforce their cloud offering. If they're to compete with Microsoft Azure on cloud offerings, Microsoft is very strong on the security side. And for Google to be able to competitive, it needed to take a big leap forward, which is why it wants to acquire Wiz.
Industry analysts suggest that the Trump administration's potential rollback of some antitrust policies may allow the deal to go through more smoothly. Wiz, which offers cloud-based cybersecurity solutions, was valued at $12 billion in a funding round last May. Interest in the cybersecurity sector has surged following last year's global outage at CrowdStrike, which highlighted vulnerabilities in digital infrastructures and raised enterprise concerns about cybersecurity. Google has stated it expects the deal to close next year, with Wiz joining its cloud division. Despite the acquisition, Wiz products will remain available across all major cloud platforms, ensuring continued access for businesses using different providers.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang took center stage on Tuesday, unveiling groundbreaking advancements in artificial intelligence, robotics, and computing power. From next-generation AI chips to revolutionary robotics development platforms, Huang's keynote delivered major technological milestones.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang revealed fresh details about the company's newest artificial intelligence chip and other advancements at its annual Software Developer Conference GTC 2025. At the heart of NVIDIA's announcements was the introduction of Isaac GR00T N1, the world's first open humanoid robot foundation model. The new AI-powered simulation frameworks aim to accelerate the development of robots, bringing smarter and more efficient automation solutions. Another breakthrough in robotics came with the unveiling of Newton, an open-source physics engine for robotics. Developed in collaboration with Google DeepMind and Disney Research, Newton is an extensible physics engine designed to advance robot learning and development. In the AI chip sector, NVIDIA announced the Blackwell Ultra, the next iteration of its flagship GPU chip, expected in the second half of this year. Blackwell Ultra will feature increased memory capacity to support larger AI models. Huang emphasized that NVIDIA's chips are uniquely capable of handling both high-volume AI requests and delivering rapid responses efficiently.
Twice the performance of Grace.
Looking ahead, Huang revealed NVIDIA's long-term roadmap with the Vera Rubin chip system, set to succeed Blackwell in the second half of 2026. This will be followed by the Feynman chips, scheduled for release in 2028, promising even faster processing speeds and improved AI performance. In the computing space, NVIDIA introduced the DGX Workstation, a powerful new personal computer built on Blackwell chips. Said to be manufactured by Dell, Lenovo, and HP, this workstation challenges high-end Macs, providing an advanced AI-focused computing solution for professionals. Huang also announced the launch of new free software called Dynamo, designed to enhance AI reasoning speed. This innovation is expected to significantly streamline AI development processes.
Cosmos prediction.
In the automotive sector, NVIDIA secured a major partnership with General Motors, which selected the company to develop its self-driving car fleet. This collaboration marks another major step in autonomous vehicle technology, reinforcing NVIDIA's leadership in AI-powered mobility solutions.
Thank you, I love you.
NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams have returned to Earth after an unexpected 9-month stay aboard the International Space Station. The planned week-long mission was extended due to Starliner's technical failures. The astronauts landed safely in a SpaceX Crew Dragon off Florida's coast on Tuesday.
They were just in space moments ago, so their arms were able to float freely.
NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams splashed down off the coast of Florida on Tuesday, concluding a mission that lasted far longer than expected due to persistent issues with Boeing's Starliner spacecraft.
Taking a series of helicopters out to the vessel. Oh yeah, Sandra, this.
The pair initially launched in June for what was supposed to be an 8-day test flight. However, propulsion system failures left them stranded aboard the ISS for 9 months, forcing NASA to bring them back aboard SpaceX's Crew Dragon as part of its regular crew rotation.
And there you have it. The side hatch is open for the first time since September.
Wilmore and Williams, both retired U.S. Navy test pilots, undocked from the ISS at 1:05 a.m. ET alongside 2 other crew members. After a 17-hour journey, they re-entered Earth's atmosphere at 5:45 p.m. ET, decelerating from 17,000 miles per hour to just 17 miles per hour before making a smooth splashdown.
Or exits the spacecraft.
NASA's live broadcast showed the astronauts in good spirits before departure, bidding farewell to their ISS colleagues. Following their recovery, Wilmore and Williams were transported to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston for routine medical checks before reuniting with their families. The extended mission also sparked political debate, President Donald Trump calling for their expedited return, alleging that President Joe Biden had delayed the retrieval. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk supported Trump's remarks, stressing Crew Dragon's reliability as the only fully operational U.S. crewed spacecraft. The mission further highlights Boeing's struggles with the Starliner program, which was meant to rival SpaceX's Crew Dragon, but has faced repeated technical setbacks. NASA continues to evaluate the future of Starliner, aiming to ensure a reliable fleet for human spaceflight.
Congrats.
Now, we take you to Istanbul, where Turkey's first virtual reality museum is offering visitors an unprecedented journey through history. Imagine stepping back 4,500 years to witness the mysteries of ancient Egypt unfold before your eyes. This groundbreaking museum is redefining how we experience the past. Let's take a closer look.
Located in unique Istanbul, Müzeverse is Turkey's first virtual reality museum, offering an immersive journey into history like never before. This pioneering project is a collaboration between VR Future, a virtual content production company, and the French VR firm Excurio. On November 19, 2024, Müzeverse opened its doors with an awe-inspiring VR experience titled A Journey to the Pyramids, the discovery of ancient Egypt. This innovative exhibition transports visitors 4,500 years into the past, allowing them to witness King Khufu's funeral procession and explore the hidden chambers of the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau.
Böyle bir sanal gerçeklik müzesi konsepti 3 sene önce başladı Fransa'da.
The concept of a virtual reality museum emerged 3 years ago during a conversation with Excurio's CEO in France. From there, we decided to bring this technology and concept to Turkey. There are similar VR museums in 8 countries, including China, the US and France, but this is the first in Turkey.
Türkiye'de ilk. O zaman 3 sene sürdü buraya böyle bir konsept getirebilmek için.
The Journey to the Pyramids experience took 2.5 years to develop, involving a dedicated team of 50 experts. Visitors can enjoy the experience in 4 languages: Turkish, English, French, and Chinese. Mangia Villano highlights how virtual reality is revolutionizing the way stories are told.
Bu müzede ileri teknoloji ve yepyeni bir sanal türüyle
We offer exploration and interactivity that traditional museums do not. Everything here is interactive. Our relationship with reality can change after experiencing such a VR journey. To help with this transition, we've created a listening room where visitors can reconnect with reality after their 45-minute virtual experience. This moment is crucial as we blur the boundaries between reality and virtual space.
sosyal yolculuk yapıyorsunuz.
Looking ahead, Müzeverse has ambitious plans to showcase Turkey's cultural heritage to a global audience. The museum aims to expand to 40 different locations worldwide this year, bringing its innovative virtual reality experiences to history and art enthusiasts everywhere.
Thanks for joining us. Keep watching A News for the latest, and we'll be back before you know it.